be a bit better. Good morning, Facebook. I'm just hanging on a few minutes. I'm not sure who's going to join me this morning because I've switched from lunch break live to tea break live. I'm having my cup of tea. So I'll just see if I get anyone join me this morning. Just leave it a couple of seconds. Well, looks like I'm currently alone, which doesn't surprise me because I didn't advertise I was doing a live until this morning, so that doesn't surprise me. And as it's a Tuesday, I understand lots of people are at work. I know even my mum's out this morning, so mum's not going to be watching live. Oh, hi Sylvia, that's great to see you. And that's brilliant because it always ensures that to me that I am actually live. So fabulous, thank you for joining me. And if you're joining me after the event on replay, I'll say thank you for joining me on replay. And if you're watching it also on YouTube after the event, thank you for watching on YouTube on my channel. And if you haven't done already, please give me a like and a subscribe and hit the notifications button too, because then you'll always be notified of when I've uploaded a video. So welcome, it's Izzy Shashinsky here. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK, and this morning I've got a really cute mini album. It's a squash book, a mini album, just something fun and cute. I really wanted to jump on and do a live today, and I'm still trying to use up all of my DSP. So I'm trying to find projects that I can make that use plenty of DSP. Although this project actually uses 3/4 of a sheet of 12 by 12, but anyway, it's a start, and you can use more and you can add to this project. So, oh bless you Sylvia, you're welcome for your card, and it's happy birthday today, I think. Is it today or was it yesterday? No, it was oh hang on, I've got it down as the 21st, so it's happy birthday to you. I shall save you from my singing, and I shall not sing happy birthday to you, but I'm wishing you a very, very happy birthday. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope it's full of sunshine. We've got gorgeous sunshine here in Retford today, so I hope the sun's shining on you too, Sylvia. And hi Louise, thank you for joining. So yes, I do get distracted by the comments when they start coming up, but it's always good to see a few comments because it really does let me know that I am actually broadcasting live, so that's great. So a couple of things I would just say, a few golden moments since I was last here. So I didn't do a live last week, which is one of the reasons I really wanted to come on this week, but I've got all sorts of things in my calendar. So golden moments since I was last here, well actually the whole of last weekend, because it was Andrew's birthday, and so we were in our happy place in Norfolk and we had a really nice time. We had mixed, some sunshine and some grey, but lovely dry still days, and it was just lovely, you know, generally February, and we just had a really nice restful break in our caravan in Norfolk, and we were very cosy and had a walk by the sea. I went to see Helen Smith of Helen's, I always get this wrong, I'm so sorry Helen's, I'm not even going to attempt it. Oh, that's really bad of me. No, I am going to attempt it, but I'm going to get it wrong. Helen's Designs. I think it's Helen Smith Designs. I'm sure it's Helen Smith Designs. Yes. I did a link yesterday to Helen. So if you look at my challenge completed post yesterday. Helen lives in Norfolk. That's why I'm rambling. And I had a few hours with Helen and we did some making. So that was lovely as well. I also had lots of time to myself on one of the days when Andrew went fishing, so I actually got my next card class designed and the samples made. So that was just a lovely weekend. This last weekend has been quite busy. I have been helping Andrew in the garden with some landscaping. On Saturday, that was on Sunday. On Saturday I went to visit a friend, had some time at home. Yesterday I had an appointment in the afternoon, and the reason I'm on doing a tea break live today and not lunchtime is that I actually have an appointment at 12:15, so I better crack on. Enough waffling, Izzy. Let's crack on. Let me see if I can switch this camera around without it doing silly things. I have to really be careful. Yeah, the buttons are ever so small on my phone, so a bit of care and attention. Let's get this camera turned around. So this is the sweet project I'm going to be sharing with you. And I've fastened it with some ribbon. It can be fastened in various different ways. So it opens out and then it opens out again. So it's a squash album. I'm sure that you've all seen these before. They're very popular, very easy to make, and I'm going to give you a couple of pointers about other things that you can do. What I really like about this size is it's really handy to pop in your handbag, in a pocket. My intention for this one is to decorate it with maybe some small photographs and write a few bits and pieces, and I possibly will send this one to my mum, or I may send the next one to my mum. And I know mum's not watching at the moment. She will be watching on catch up, so it won't be a surprise for mum, but there are lots of other surprises coming mum's way. So just thought I'd share with you this size of mini squash album. We're going to be using a stamp set called Decorative Borders, which is sweet, and the alphabet a la mode dies, but you can use any stamp sets that you want to decorate the front of your album. Really, it's just, if I teach you how to do the mechanics of the mini album, then you can decorate it. We're going to use some ribbon and we're going to use some DSP, and this is that bumper pack of DSP that's available from until a week today. Just for the next week it's available free when you spend £90. So I'm just going to pop that to one side because I'm going to take a seat as well. Just have a quick scan who's watching. Yay, I've got a few people watching. That's brilliant, because I've actually prepared everything ahead, but I haven't done anything with it. So what you do need for this project is either one sheet of 12 by 12 designer series paper, which you're going to cut into 6 by 6, or you need 3 pieces of 6 by 6 designer series paper. So if you've got packs of 6 by 6, you can use that, and just choose some that actually you can use 3 different ones. I've used, let me see, 3 different ones in this one, you can see, and of course the double-sided, and I just chose 3 with colours that actually go together. So I've switched out the colours, so I've switched out my ink as well, but I've actually just chosen 2 different ones so you can see the different sides here. And the only thing that you need to think about is whatever pattern you want on the front, you need to lay down as your middle piece with the cover pattern towards your desk. So I'll talk to you about that when I come to actually stick it together. So the first thing you need to do, let me talk about everything that you need actually. Let me just pop that back down. So you need 3 pieces of 6 by 6 DSP, or 1 piece of 12 by 12 that you chop into quarters. You're going to need 8 little squares of coordinating card, and I've chosen basic white for my coordinating card because I want to stamp some bits and pieces on, and I've cut these to 2.5 inches square. So I've got 2, 4, 6, I've got 8 pieces. You also might need some ribbon, unless you choose to finish it with a belly band, that would work, or actually just leave it without a fastening equally it could work. You might want to make an envelope even to pop it all in. So if you want to use ribbon like me, you'll need some ribbon. Then, like I said, you'll need something to decorate it with, so a stamp set of your choice. Oh, I'm just moving my chair, so I'm going to udge myself up. I just need to do a camera check, and let me just eyeball what's in shot so I know where to place my bits and bobs. Okay, so it's actually really quite straightforward to make. Pop my white pieces out of the way, and we'll just focus on the designer series paper to start with. Now, of course, you can use a scoring tool. You could use your trimmer with a scoring tool on it. You could use a scoreboard, but I'm actually going to use my bone folder, and I'm going to just simply do my folds because they're pretty easy to do. So you want to fold each piece in half, and just give yourself a pinch in the middle, hold your bone folder and crease from the middle outwards, turn it around and fold in half again. And of course, as I will always point out while I'm making live, my camera is here and my head is quite a way back, so ideally I would have my head directly over and eyeballing, making sure I'm nice and lined up. And then for each piece we want to just fold one time diagonally from corner to corner, so just one diagonal fold. And the reason I actually like to not use my scoring tool is that it's so easy. Why measure those score lines when you can simply fold it in half? So that's one piece done, and we'll just go ahead and do the others. It really doesn't matter which way you fold them, because a crease can always be reversed, and by that I mean if you didn't want this to be the valley, you wanted it to be the mountain, you just switch that round. So now it's a mountain point and not a valley point, but it really doesn't matter. So half and then half again. Just taking my time to make sure I get that nicely lined up, and then one diagonal point to point, and you only have to watch me do this 3 times. That's 2 pieces, and this is the final piece. So how is everybody? It's pancake day. Who's looking forward to their pancakes, or who has already had their pancakes? Are you a breakfast pancake person? Are you a tea time sweet treat pancake person? Are you a lunchtime pancake person? Are you running around the block in a pancake race type of person? Is there a pancake race happening near you? Does that still happen? So now we've got our 3 pieces all with our score lines, and we want to just lay them out. So I want this piece to be my cover, and I want this design to be my cover. So I'm going to lay that with the cover down, and with my creases, let me just move my white pieces, with my diagonal creases, they need to be actually mounting towards you. My diagonal pieces want to be running now vertical, and I want to lay my next piece next to it, and my next piece next to it, like this. So this is how we're going to stick it together. Of course, if I wanted this design to be on the inside, then I would just pop my diagonal crease, so it needs to be a mountain pointing upwards towards you, and we're going to stick these squares together. I actually want, I think I'm just going to flip it over and just have a look at what looks best. You don't actually see, when your album is closed, you only see the outside, so it's only when you open it that you actually see all the different patterns together. So really it's the opening, when it's laid open, what looks best, this way or this way. I think this way. So I'm going to now stick it together, and I'm going to use multi-purpose liquid glue because I've got a bit of wiggle room, and because of the fussy pattern, I'm hoping that my camera's not doing that. I'm going to stand up. I'm hoping that my camera's not doing that focus in, focus out of focus, switchy stuff. Oh, you love your pancakes, Louise, but you always burn them. Oh no! Oh. I only make them once a year, and it's always that first tossing over of the pancake that's the scary bit. Now I'm just going to put glue on this square. I'm hoping that you can sort of pick out, you can see that that's a square. If I just squish it a little bit, we've got a square here, and that's the bit we're going to stick on. So I'm going to put my glue down. I haven't decided. I know I've got a lot of eggs in the fridge, so I haven't quite decided whether to have sweet or savoury pancakes. And I'm going to just show you, look, we've got a square here, and I'm going to take my time just to try and get that really lined up nicely. And what you don't want to do, that's why I like my Tombow, and I think I've actually got a squidge too much there. What you don't want to do is go really, really tight into that corner, because it all has to fold. So just lay it nice and square, but not right along your crease lines. Can you see? Not right along those crease lines, and not right into the corner. So you're just out a little bit, and I've got quite a squidge there, so I'm going to just try and rescue myself a little bit there. And just grab a piece of kitchen towel and really quickly wipe it. The danger with kitchen paper is it sticks to it, so we'll just wipe as much off, and if it still feels sticky, we can give it a rub with the adhesive rubber. Now you can start to see how that's going to fold in, so that's good. And we're going to do exactly the same on the opposite side. So if you understand what I mean by a mountain fold, so a mountain has a peak, as if I'm looking at the mountain, not a valley. So a valley would be that way. So I want the mountain folds on the diagonal facing up. But like I say, you don't have to panic too much, because once you've stuck these squares on top of each other, you can see I'm not quite into that corner, otherwise these tips would be meeting. I'll just have a look at that square there and that square there, and then we can give that a good old press. So now that's the basic album actually done, and you can see that it wants to start folding in. You just give it a squeeze and it wants to start folding in. Just give that a squeeze, and then this one will want to start folding in as you close it together. These two mountains want to come together, and it's like anything with a bit of paper. First time you fold it is the hardest, because it's never been creased that way before, and once you've got it closed, you can give it a good old squish. Now this side's actually better. You can see that side's a little bit kind of overlapping, so just take your time when you do stick it to get those sides nice and square. So I'm going to choose this one as my front piece. So we've got that opening up, and now's the time to start and do some decorating. So we've got 8 pieces of basic white. You can see it's like a jack-in-the-box until you've opened and shut it a few times. You can see my original one's much neater, because like I said, I could get my head right over and see exactly where I was lining up. This one's just slightly out of skew, and it's even more out of skew on the back. But just remember, these are handmade, gifted items. They're not to be bought in a shop. I always think, you know, if we're perfectionists, we need to leave perfection at the door, and let's welcome good enough to the party. So we've got 8 pieces of white, and we can just have a look at where they all fit. They basically fit wherever there's a square piece. So when we open it up for the first time, we'll have 2 here. When we open it for the last time, we'll have 4 on the inside, 2 on the first inside, one on the front and one on the back. So I want to think about decorating my front maybe slightly differently to the back. And I'm going to just copy this first album, but just do it in a different colourway. So I'm going to use this lovely Decorative Borders stamp set. It's in the mini catalogue, and I've page marked. It's on page 47, so it's purely an image stamp set. It's £22, it's photopolymer, and you get these 10 really clever images. And I want to talk to you a bit about why they are really clever. I want to just point out this diamond shape, and if you look carefully, this diamond shape actually repeats on two of the other two of the other images. So we've got that diamond here and that diamond here, and we can put these patterns together, this repeating pattern, and we can either get a really lovely flowing floral image. We can stamp wreaths and circles with these flowing pieces, or we can get some really nice, it's called Decorative Borders. This has actually got a right angle in it, and I've recently stamped some customer bags, didn't take any photos I don't think, with this square piece, and they're actually nice large images as well. So let's have another look, let's have a closer look. Let's decorate that front piece. So I need one of my squares. I'll just pop my original over there, it's the ribbons in the way. And I'm going to use this image here from the stamp set. You can see that they're nice big images. I will just need a piece of stamp off, stamp on paper, and rather than grid I'll use a plain piece. And I'm going to decorate the front with fresh freesia ink. And I am going to stamp off and stamp on. Let me just get myself organised and get things in the right place. So I'm going to tap, tap, tap and stamp off. And I'll just let you have a look at that image. It's gorgeous, and they can be coloured in, stamped in black, stamped in white, coloured in. So stamp off. Then I'm going to stamp on, and I'm going to have the straight edge across the top. Now this is where can't see what I'm doing, but I'm going to just eyeball it and go for it. There, we've got a nice stamp off. Easier on the bottom because I can see a little bit better. And I just wanted that pale background because I'm going to die cut the letters Mum and pop those die cuts on. So that's my first stamped piece. Then if we open it up inside, I used the same stamp, but I also brought in this image here, this one with the diamonds. So let's go for it. And I want 2 of those. So I'm going to do exactly the same, stamp off. Actually, I will do it with the bottom and then just turn it around because it's easy for me to see the edge of the cardstock. 2 of those. And the reason I want them second generation ink or stamped off and pale is that I want to add maybe some little photos. So I might want to fussy cut a photo or trim down a tiny photo, or I might want to write some journaling words across there. So I actually want to leave it, I might want to write across it, it's just really a background. But this line I'm going to stamp full strength, and I'm just going to turn that around again. And I'm just taking care to get that symmetrical, so I'm just watching where my diamonds are. Just turn that around. And what I absolutely love about this stamp set is that it just allows you to build up patterns. So I've got my front and my 2 insides. And now if I open up this again, you'll be able to see I've got 4 with just 1 corner stamped. And I'm just going to take a look. Should I change my ink? I think I'm going to change my ink actually to, for this corner stamp, I'm going to change it to Pale Papaya. and we're going to use this big corner image. So that's this one in the stamp set, this one here, and it actually has, even though it's got this lovely organic curved leaf, if you look carefully you can see that there is a straight line and a right angle corner. So I'm going to stamp 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3, no, 4 pieces. 4 pieces with that corner right angle, and it just fits on your ink pad. And I'm going to stamp this in full strength, I think. Let me just test it. Yeah, I've got it on a really big block, so it's not quite so easy to hang on to. And I'm just looking for that corner, that very corner right angle, so that I can stamp. Some of it will be just slightly off the page or off the piece. There we go. Come on. So we've got that right angle, if you can just see it in the corner, and it just gives a nice corner border. I'm taking care because I've actually got a bit of ink there. Let me just clean that off. I don't want to smudge. I've got just a piece of chamois. One of my chamois has been chopped into bits, and I keep it in a grip seal bag. Keeps it nice and moist. I keep my other chamois in a clear stamp case. But I do keep one cut into quarters, because I find it easy if I get ink on my block just like that, or especially when I'm using my stamparatus. Now stop talking and start concentrating. There we go. Got another corner. Let's quickly just finish these. I really love this stamp set, and I've not used it enough, but when I have used it, I've been just astounded at what you can actually do. And I will share a couple of things that I've stamped just to show you the different. I can't see the corner of my card. I think my head's probably just been in shock, but hey, there we are. Yeah, just to show you what kind of different look you can get with this stamp set. I did this cute little card because I really like this kind of Art Deco, Art Nouveau, I can never remember the difference, and stamped the envelope. I just used one of our note card and envelope sets there, and added that tiny bit of red. And the stamps I used for that from the set was this long one here for the border down the side, carefully joining them together. Because it's photopolymer, you can do that really easily. And for the actual tag, I used this stamp and this stamp. Just added a sentiment, and I thought that looked really nice and classy. And I'll just share with you that I stamped some of the images onto crumb cake with white ink, and then added some colour with my watercolour pencils, so it gives you another look. So a great stamp set, really different, just something different. And these tiny images you can use on all sorts of things. So that's our 4 pieces for the middle, and the final piece is I need to stamp is for just the back. That's it. So I just decorated the back, and I just thought, well, anything goes, let's have a look. So I'll just continue with that piece of scrap. So let's use this one again with fresh freesia. And we'll do the same. I'll stamp it this way. Stamp it quite close to the edge, using that straight line that's included in the image as a guide. And I've stamped this, because this is the back, it's only for decoration, I've stamped this in full strength ink. Now I can add that line across the middle, For this one I might stamp off. And let's just decorate the middle. And then I could add this one. This one's different. We'll use that little scroll, slightly different to my first. Let's do a mirror image. Let's see how we can get that lined up. There, that makes a nice pattern. So there's my back piece, just some decoration for the back. Okay, so let's just move my inks and my wet stamps out of harm's way. And let's put this album together. So the other thing that I need to do, so I've got my front and my back, my 2 first pieces and my 4 inside pieces all decorated. And the last thing I need to do is actually do a die cut. Now I decorated mine with Mum. You could decorate it with your alphabet dies, just with maybe some initials of somebody's name, or like if you watched Lorna the other week, Lorna Carter's Creation, she made this cute album. Again, it turns out to be a 3" by 3" mini album. If you didn't watch her, go back to Lorna Carter's Creations and watch how she made this mini album, and use the word fun on the front. So I had a piece of DSP left over, and what I wanted to do was make my letters using the contrasting colour, so it's the reverse side of this. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to fold it in half and I'm going to stick it together, which will just make the letters a little bit thicker. I'm going to use Tombow. Just make the die cut letters that little bit thicker. Now if you use your bone folder this way, that spreads the glue out nicely inside and gets it on your desk. So now I've got my piece of DSP that's double thickness, and that just works really nicely for die cutting. So I'm going to just grab my magnetic dish and I'm going to bring actually the big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine across, and I'm going to die cut the letters for Mum, and I'm going to take care actually, a little bit wobbly, to just line them up. There's some pattern on the paper with straight lines, so I'm going, come on M, stop spinning. I'm going to take it's misbehaving. I am going to take care to line it up nicely. I think what's happened actually, I store my dies on magnetic sheet, and I think they pick up the magnetism, and there was some attraction and detraction going on there, because every time I put the U next to it, it just moved it out of the way. Anyway, to be honest, this pattern is so small it really doesn't matter. But if you wanted to take care to line it up, and I just need another M. That's just made me chuckle. I'm taking care to line my die up. And every time I lined it up, it span. It only happens on a live, doesn't it? Let's see. Now, see, you've got your... sometimes if you just drop your die, it just makes some of it pop out without having to actually use your pokey tool or your brush. So there's a tip for you if you've got a small die that's got cards stuck in it. If you drop it, sometimes if it's a soft surface it doesn't work, but if it's a nice flat surface. I'm just going to have a drink of tea. It's tea break time. Who's having tea break? I don't know whether you saw what my mug said, and I'm not sure if my camera can pick it up. It might look like I'm listening to you, but in my head I'm crafting. Okay, now we can put this album together. Now for the front I want to add some ribbon, And this time I'm going to add it slightly differently. On my original one I actually added it all the way around the corner, and then I realised actually you don't need it round the corner. Just add a couple of pieces and just stick it here, or you could stick it here and here to tie at the side. So I think for this one I'm going to tie it actually at the side. So let's do that, and I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use all of the different glues today. Now I've got a paper clip that I'm holding my ribbon down with. Just pop that in the middle. It would work, any paper clip would work, but I'm finding that quite useful at the moment. So I need a piece of ribbon, enough to tie in a pretty bow, say about that long, and I might need 2 of them. So let's just measure another length the same. So when I'm storing my ribbons, I store them in actually a wine box. I think it's a box that you use in your fridge, and I just find that the ends constantly ping out, so a little paper clip is useful to stop it from unravelling. And now I can pop it back in the box. I was going to try and show you the box that I use. So these are wine storage boxes for inside the fridge, and they have an open end, so I've just used my hot glue gun and stuck some window sheet on the end so that they don't fall out. And I have a few of these in a row. I like them because they're clear and I can see quickly what colour ribbon I'm actually looking for. So let's use some tear and tape, and that's just to stick the ribbon down. If I can find the end, I'll just use a bit of tear and tape, stick it in the middle, and a little bit of tear and tape on the back in the middle. And we'll decide that this is going to be the side that my ribbon's going to be on. So we can put the first piece of ribbon down here, and that should just anchor it in place. Now we can pop our front cover piece of basic white on. Now on this one, because of the pattern, I actually just trimmed down my front piece from 2.5 inches. I took a smidge off 2 sides because I quite like to see these green dots around. So when you're decorating yours, just make it yours. You could have 2 different layers. You could put another layer of coloured card underneath and make your front smaller. You could use a fancy label, maybe a label punch. You can decorate your albums just however you want, but this is how I've chosen to do mine. There we are. And I said I'm going to use all the glues. Let's use all the glues. Let's have a look at using, shall we have a look at using the fine tip glue pen for these little tiny letters. Now, do you remember my tip the other week? I'm just going to hold that down, stop it from pinging up, see if that works. Do you remember my tip the other week for lining up letters and using washi tape? Shall we do that again? Let me just go in my drawer and find some washi tape. So this is just some £3 washi tape from the works. You get all those. And we'll just have a little piece of washi tape. Now I'm going to actually I'm popping it on my leggings and lifting it off, and popping it on my leggings and lifting it off, and that reduces the tack even more. I want it to be really low tack. I don't want it to stick to this. And I'm going to line up my letters. She said, I'm having such fun lining up my letters neatly this morning, aren't I? I just seem to want to jump all over the place. But I'll teach you the technique. And it's actually a bit harder with this because this is a chunky, it's a chunky project. If it was just a greetings card, it'd be a lot easier. I'm just trying to see if I can weight that down. That might work. So if I line up my letters to where I want them to be, and then I take my washi tape, stick it on my letters, and then I anchor here. I've now got a hinge. I can pull that back, and I could actually move this out of the way for the moment because I can position it back in. It's such a small project, I can eyeball the middle. And now I can actually put my glue on the back, and I'm going to stick with Tombow. I love my when I've got a newish Tombow, it's quite manageable in terms of how much I need to squeeze it. And all I'm doing is putting a tiny dot in certain points. I'm not going to try and spread it all the way along the letters because they will stick down nicely. So just some dots there. If I can remove my finger from that washi tape, put my glue away. Now if I bring my project back in, and I should be able to pull this back across like a hinge and position that where I want the letters. It keeps them all together. I personally just find that easier than using tweezers. I kind of get myself all back to front when I'm using tweezers. And I can carefully lift off. Carefully lift off the washi. And I can use again my bone folder. Thank you, Peg, you've helped a bit. Again, just carefully use my bone folder to press those letters down. Now I think that looks quite cute. It doesn't look as dramatic as my first one in that the patterns that I've stamped are much paler. So I'm wondering about adding some flowers or something to the front of this, but we'll maybe just decide at the end. But that's the front. Let's go to the back and we'll add the other piece of ribbon. I'll just try and get those lengths equal there. And just stick that down in the middle. So that's the back, and we can add this fancy piece here. There we go. Now we go back to the front and we can open it for the first time, and we can add those two pieces that we decorated for the front, and we can decide which way around we want them. I think that that sort of symmetry looks quite nice, so we can drop those in. It's going to take no time at all now to finish the decoration, and then all that is left once we've decorated is for you to decide what you're going to do with the inside, whether you're going to add photographs, maybe some memories, some journaling. I mean, this could be a nice, just a, it could be a brag book. If somebody's got new grandchildren, or if somebody's got grandchildren who are not new babies. I know Sylvia's got some gorgeous granddaughters because I've met them, and Charlotte came to my last card class and was a fabulous addition to the room. She was just so good. She's just such a pleasure and a joy. She was working away by herself in the corner, just adorable, and when I had a minute I went to see what she was up to. I've just blobbed that glue a bit. I'm going to just undo my spready end and just spread that inwards. So I just went to have a chat with Charlotte and see what she was up to, and she was just doing some writing, and she was writing the most fabulous story. I was just blown away by her talent. A very, very clever girl. and she told me that she liked writing. We had a lovely conversation about writing and words, and just a pleasure to be with is Charlotte. I've got a sneaky feeling that she might be wanting to come to craft class again. So yeah, this could be a brag book for any grandparent, some photos of grandchildren in. Could just be a little memory book. You've had a day out with your friend. It could be whatever you want to make it. And I'm going to make one of these into a gift for my mum. Now I need to watch what I'm doing with this pattern. Just make sure I've got my mirror images there. You see how quickly that's come together just to decorate. Now of course you could go crazy and you could cut some pieces of coordinated cardstock into triangles and pop them there. In my mind you'd be covering up the pattern of the DSP, which is a bit of a shame, but you can just see how quickly that's come together, how quickly that really and easily that is to decorate. I'm just going to tie that there, and we've done that in less than an hour. And yes, I do realise I'd pre-cut, what am I doing, faffing? Pre-cut my pieces, but really I'd only chopped some squares. So, project that could take about an hour to do. Now I think we could decorate the front, maybe we could add some bling, or we could punch some flowers. Let's have a look what we've got left over here. I've got some bits and pieces of the DSP that I've used. So, even with the DSP, let's see what flowers we can make. I've got this new flower punch. Let's have a look. If I just punch that twice. Once with that one. And once with this one. Let's see what happens if we try and put those together. And if I just bring in my whiteboard rubber and a ball-ended tool, which I've got somewhere in here. Oh, here it is. And just give that a slight press. Not pressing too hard, just give it a bit of a press in the middle. Because of course this is to go in your handbag, so we don't want it to be too three-dimensional, but it just pops those petals up a little bit. Let's see. I always like to manipulate the flowers so that they go a bit more three-dimensional. As you know, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you will know that of me. Let's see if we can stick some of these together and make something out of them. Let's have a look. Let's pop that on there. Who stole the Tombow? I stole the Tombow. Just really keeping my eye on the time because I have an appointment at 12:15, and I do need to eat something before I go, and it will take me about a quarter of an hour to get there. And I'm going to see my fabulous hairdresser, Gemma. I'm going to have my roots done. Let's see what we come up with. I think we could probably reach for some bling for the middle of these two big flowers. Let me just reach my box of bling again. If you've seen my videos in the past, you'll see how I store my bling in these, what used to be the large stamp cases, but we don't sell these anymore. If you can't get hold of them, second hand, then you could just simply use an old video case. Actually, I'm sure that charity shops have video cases, videos. I quite like those lovely sequins. I quite like these pink ones. Oh, these pearls, actually. Pastel pearls might be good for this one. So let's have a look. We've got these lovely pastel pearls, and I think that dark, if I just pop a flower, let's see, pop a flower there. I think we might only need one big one. I think two big ones would be too much. I think that one needs flipping over because it just gets lost with the spots. So we can make that one a double. Shall we make that one a double? Shall we make it a double? I might actually pinch this one off of here because I think two big ones is too big. I mean, it's only a piece of paper. I could have punched another one. I know. I can hear you. Now let's just pop that one there. Oh, I hope you can't hear my tummy rumbling. I did have my tea break. I did have my tea break. Come on, Tombo, stick. Okay. And let's pop this on. Pop that one there. Tombo's not wanting to stick. I don't think I put enough on. There we are. And let's pop a... I'm going to just pop a light one and see what that looks like. I've got more Tombow on my fingers than anywhere else. There, that looks sweet. That just lifts that one. Just turn that, and I'm just going to go back and use my ball tool again just to put some pressure on there. I've got very sticky fingers. And of course you can use a glue dot. And let's put a pearl in the middle of that one as well. Very sticky fingers, you see. Sweet. And I don't think this one needs bling because that stamping's a bit darker. I think that this one's pretty good. So let's just clear away all the stuff, all the excess bits and pieces, and let's have a look and tie this one in a knot. Or should we open this one up? Let's open this one up and you can see the inside of that. There. And let's just recap. So we've just used one piece of 12 by 12 DSP and we've chopped it into quarters, and we've used 3 of those quarters, and the other quarter you could use to decorate. You could actually cut some other squares and flip the designs and use it to decorate. You could use it to make a belly band. You need 8 pieces of coordinating cardstock, I will say. In my case, I've used basic white and they measure 2.5 inches square, and you need 8 of those. And then you need a stamp set. You need maybe some die cuts, some punched shapes just to decorate. I'm just going to see if that's all fitting in the screen. That's great, that's lovely. Thank you ever so much for watching. I'm going to try and turn my camera back round, and this is the bit where every week it fails, so I will say goodbye now in case it does fail, and if it doesn't I'll say goodbye again. But thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Oh, I did want to actually mention the other use for these squares. Before I go, I will give you a final tip. So let's very quickly grab this piece and my trimmer, and we will just make one more of those squares. So if you remember, it's 6 inches, and that should be 6 inches that way. We will just quickly make another one. Now if you imagine, you can use a square of any size, so it could be 6 by 6, 4 by 4, 3 by 3, but this is something I wanted to just share. Once you've got this fold, so it's in half again, and one diagonal corner to corner, and I'm just going to burnish those creases again, because there are other uses for this fold, and one of the uses is on the inside of a card. Now we'll just grab bear with me, I'm coming right back, don't go away. I'm just trying to grab some card. I've grabbed the wrong one now. Oh, anyway, I've grabbed Highland Heather, but this is really just to illustrate and to demonstrate how else you can use this. So if I cut a regular card blank and score it, and if you were to decorate this card on the outside, you might choose to stick this on the inside. You just need to make sure you've got your diagonal fold running in the same axis as the card fold, like so. Does that make sense? So you can see actually 6 by 6 is just ever so slightly too big, so you could just go down a smidge. You could do 5.5 or just shy of 6 inches, and it would mean that that point didn't stick out. But so long as you stick that on with your mountain fold running in the same direction as your spine of your card, you get this really cool pop out centre for your card, and that can be really good fun because you can put numbers on. If it's a big birthday, you can put numbers on, and it makes a really fun card. So now you've learnt that fold, even if you knew it before, it's just a reminder that you can use that as a fun pop out mechanism as well. So I will finish by saying I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you for joining me. I will just quickly try and spin my phone around, but like I say, this sometimes just fails for some reason. So bye, and thanks for watching if it doesn't work. Still live. Is my camera going to flip? I think it's going to fail. So I'm going to say goodbye because it's not flipping, it's just stuck. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.